now for your water reversal project. So we need to make sure we crop tint tones like normal, and then we need to make sure we're using a mask. And there's two different ways to mask the color I'm going to show you. So first I went through my entire collection. So I made sure I put it in a collection. And I rated my best pictures. So I'm going to filter them by rated. And let's find one I haven't already edited. So let's do this one. So first I'm going to go to develop. I am going to reset the whole thing because I did edit. I'm going to make sure I crop it to an 8x10 because that's the size that we print. And I'm going to try and make it symmetrical. And then you can see my glass is just so slightly crooked. I'm going to hit this angle icon and I'm going to click on one edge and drag it to the other edge, and it's going to straighten my horizon line. And this looks pretty well balanced, so I'm going to accept it. Now I'm going to turn on my clipping warnings. I'm going to make my darks darker until it turns blue. My highlights are a little blown out in some areas. Looks like I can't bring most of them back, but I want to make sure I'm not clipping out more details or underexposing it. Oh, look, there you go. And then I like a higher contrast. Little part of the top doesn't matter. I'm going to bring the whole saturation up. Okay, and then white balance, I'm gonna make sure I touch these, but maybe I want it a little warmer. Okay, so now here is point color, and I can click the eyedropper, and I can click, and it's gonna select everything that's that color. And then I can shift the hue, like the color of it. I can shift the saturation and make it brighter, and then I can shift the lumen, which is the brightness or darkness of the color. And I want it to be more of like a bright green, so I'm gonna do that. So I did point color. That is this. And then I'm going to show you the masking. So I can do range, color range, and click anything that's purple. And it did a pretty good job. I could also add color range if it didn't get it all. Whoop, nope. Command Z, undo. And then I can now shift the color that way as well. And then I can also edit it individually. So maybe I want to brighten it up a tad, just that side. So I can shift the color this way as well. You can also luminance range mask. So if I want to shift, if I want to edit just the highlights like this, and you're seeing it in red, because that's the color I like my mask to be. So now I can edit just those highlights that were selected in the luminance range and bring them down a little if I lost lots of detail. But you want to be careful that you're not underexposing the whole picture by doing this. So there's a bunch of different ways to do masks. I can also use my point color in masks. But I made sure I did not touch my white balance on this one. I thought I made it warmer. I'm gonna shift them just a little. I did my tones. I'm going to bring up my texture a little bit, but not a crazy amount. I brought up my saturation. I cropped it, making sure I straightened it. And then I also used a mask. So that is the basics. And then I'm gonna make sure I go into before and after mode, which I cannot see right now. So when I screenshot it, I'm gonna screenshot this whole thing, and then I'm gonna screenshot this whole panel so I can tell that you did something. And at the end, I'm gonna make sure I go to export, and I'm gonna name it water reversal. It's going on my desktop. And I only have one selected right now, and hit export. Happy editing.